All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are glad that you are joining us today as we are continuing our AI automation series. And it is being led by a powerhouse and marketing and AI guru who teaches you all the things about how to manage your time wisely within your business and also just trickling over into your life in general to make the most and best out of your opportunities and to seize future opportunities. So that is Miss Maribel Sanabria, who is the CEO of Graphically Yours. And her booking link is actually in the comments. And I'm going to pin that so you guys can have access to that today. So we're going to tag team today's presentation like we did the last one. This is the third in the series. This series is lasting for the entire year, right, Maribel?
Yes, ma'am.
This is an entire year. And so we want you guys to make sure. I see you viewers already hopping in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have questions along with today's presentation, feel free to drop them in the comments section and we'll try our best to answer them in real time. If not, she and I are both always going back, reading the comments, answering as many questions as possible. Maribel is not only the powerhouse that she is with the things that I've already mentioned, but she's also the administrator of multiple Facebook groups, definitely 2 of mine online. So today, this one is being aired in the 6 Secrets public group for minority women, but she's also administrator of Build Your Own Business Facebook group that also houses thousands of entrepreneurs exclusively. And for so many other groups like Sestra Now International, that's led by Stephanie Montgomery. So Maribel, needless to say, needs no introduction. She is always on fire, not fire, but fire. Always on fire. So I'm going to give her the floor at this time. And Maribel, you can take it away with your beautiful self.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Cynthia. I really appreciate it. I've been having so much fun giving you guys these webinars every month because, you know, most people don't realize, or if you don't realize, it's interesting, but most people don't get that AI literally is a part of our life now, right?
Yes.
So it's either A, you use it and you get ahead of everybody else, or B, you don't and you stay stuck where you're at, right? And it's almost like you don't want to use it in your business. You need to use it in your business, right? In some capacity, okay? So we're going to talk today about streamlining your operations, right? And how to automate to elevate. So when we talk about streamlining, right, that just means simplifying your processes, right? Simplifying those procedures, those SOPs that you have going on, the way you maneuver and navigate your daily business schedule, right? And all the tasks that you need to complete so that you can get ahead with less, right? We're gonna talk about how companies that embrace automations see productivity improvements of up to 30%, right? Because they no longer have to spend all this extra time on repetitive tasks every single week or even every single day. They figure out ways to circumvent that so that someone else either handles it or AI just knocks it out, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it literally is going to change your life if you start implementing these things now. I don't recommend that you hold back, okay? Because AI may seem like daunting, it may seem very overwhelming, something that, you know, is kind of outside of your scope. But if you start small, and this is something that I've been telling you guys in the past webinars, start small, start simple, right? Learn the easy things first and then build as you go. I mean, within a year's time, you are going to be amazing. You are going to be able to look back at the year that you spent learning and go, oh my goodness, where was AI last year? Why didn't I do this sooner? Right? That's what you're going to be talking to yourself about. And I don't want you to have that conversation. I want you to start now, right? Get going now. Utilize the resources that we have in the group. Utilize me. Ask questions, please. I have no problem sharing what I know, okay? If it goes beyond, you know, a certain limit, then we'll have a deeper conversation. But I'm not a gatekeeper. I love to help people. That's why we're giving this stuff for free, right? I could easily charge for these webinars, for the information that I'm giving out. But I'm not doing that. I'm here for you guys, okay? So I want you to think about something. right? When you wake up in the morning, you have an alarm. Most people have an alarm. I know I do. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I need an alarm. So I put that on my phone. I put that on something else so I can make sure that I wake up. I put it on Alexa, right? That wakes me up. That way I don't have to remember to do that because my body will not naturally wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, let's keep it real. Okay, so we're going to learn today about how to use that kind of same concept, okay, of setting an alarm so you don't have to remember, to keep track of things, of anything that you have to deal with your business, scheduling, any project management, any sort of invoicing that you have to do, even delegating and following up with your employees, you know, things like that. That way you can make your life, whether it's personal or business, a whole lot easier, okay?
Awesome.
So, what is automation? Like, what does that actually mean? So I want you to imagine having a robot do homework for you, right? Or sit here, for example, you're trying to learn something from us today. Imagine a robot sitting there and doing it for you, okay? It's kind of what automation is. So it's getting technology to really handle things for us, okay? Handle these tasks for us. That way we don't have to do it, right? We do it with minimal human intervention. And this helps us, especially with like predictive analytics and maybe intelligence that we don't currently possess, but it allows us to expand that so that we can benefit from that, okay? You need automation because sometimes we just spend too much time doing the menial tasks. Okay, those repetitive, boring things like writing down what's inside the fridge or checking if you finished your chores, right? For business sake, you know, maybe it's posting content online. Maybe it's scheduling events. Maybe it is analyzing your data through your platforms, right? Spending hours and hours and hours of doing that is a waste of your time as the business owner. You should not be spending your time doing those menial tasks. You should be forward-facing, focusing on client relationships, and doing what you do best. You know, last time we met, I talked about if you can have conversations with clients, you can convert those clients. That is where your focus should be, interacting with the client. Anything else outside of that can be handled by someone else or by AI, okay?
That's right.
So we want to be able to focus on big topics, big things, right? So that's why automation is so important. Okay, you can automate emails. You can automate follow-ups, right? Like let's say that we're on this webinar and I decide that I want to follow up with each and every one of you. If I have your email address, I could literally have programmed before today, programmed follow-up emails to go out after this presentation, giving you the replay, right? Letting you know how to connect with me, engaging you in some other platform that I am on, right? Or pointing you to some other resource that I have available to you without having to think about it, right? And that's called automation, okay? When you sell a product, when you are trying to sell your services, right? And you have someone that bites and grabs it. What do you need to have in place? You need to have some sort of follow-up sequence available, right? So when they purchase, they get a receipt of some kind that lets them know exactly what they purchased, okay?
Right.
From there, you want to give them some sort of communication that tells them next steps, right? How to utilize the product or how to connect with you further. That maybe you give some free tips about how to utilize the product they just bought on some other platform. Maybe you have a YouTube channel that's filled with information based on a service that you're providing, right? With some free little tidbits to help them along. So those things can go inside of a sequence of communications that is sent to the client that purchased from you automatically. And then you don't have to think about, I really should send this out to so-and-so because they just bought something for me. Or, you know, oh, when was the last time that I engaged with this particular client? No, you just constantly do that. After you have a set of sequences that go out, you kind of reiterate, think about how you're going to change things up, and you set up another one, right? And what's cool about this is either A, you can get your VA to do it if you have a VA, or B, you programmed AI to do it, okay? I've built so many custom GPT bots that now I don't have to create content, period, right?
Yep.
I have my GPT bots that build my blog content. I have them, they build my email content. They build my social media content. They build ideas for video, right? So they build scripts for me. They build my YouTube descriptions if I want them to do that. They build all kinds of things, right? And all I have to do is it's a click of a button and it's done. So I'm not spending hours thinking about this content, right? Belaboring this content. I make sure that I feed it the information that they need, like, you know, my business model, my branding package, my tone, my voice, things like that, so that they understand where to come from and how to create the content. But once that's in there, all I have to do is click and go, make me posts for this week. Boom. And it spits it out, right? And then, you know, you create a connection that sends that to like a spreadsheet. And then you can feed that to your VA. And you can go a step further. And from that spreadsheet, it can schedule it into Buffer or some other social media posting platform that you have. And it can automatically post for you. So you really don't even have to touch it, which is really cool. Yeah. So, you know, automation in general saves time, right? And that's what we need as business owners. We don't have all the time in the world. Okay. We cannot be spending all this extra time on these small tasks then and decrease the amount of time that we have to spend with our clients. Because then you're losing clientele and nobody wants to do that. Right. Nobody wants to do that. All right. So
that's losing money. We don't lose money.
No, we can't. We can't, right? That's not even worth our time. Right. No. That's not even a question, girl. No, we can't lose money. We are in the business of making money, and that is why AI is so important in our businesses nowadays. Now, listen, 5 years ago, I would have never thought I would have had this. I would be making these webinars, you know, dealing with AI and business and whatnot. That didn't even come to mind 5 years ago, right? But now it's essential. You have to get on board with this. Okay. So another thing that you can use AI automations for is for your inventory. Okay. These are for the people who have product-based businesses. Okay. So when you have inventory and you have to kind of keep track of it, right? There are tons of challenges that you deal with, right? Things like overstocking, maybe stocking stockouts, right? Which means you don't have enough. Right? Maybe inaccuracies, and these things can cost your business lots of money, right? Because when a client comes to you and they want to buy something, and let's just say that they see it on your website that it's available, and when they purchase it, but then they get a message like a second later going, "I am so sorry, that should not have been available on our website. It's actually out of stock." You know how much credibility you lose when that happens. Right? No one. Oh my goodness gracious! It's like getting blacklisted.
Right.
You know, no one's gonna want to come back and buy from you if they get that kind of message. Right? It's highly unprofessional. We don't want to do that. So having accurate inventory is critical when you are a product-based business. Okay, so AI can help you with real-time tracking, okay, demand forecasting, and then automatic reordering too. So you can set it up so where you have your vendors that you deal with, right? People you purchase your products from in order for you to make your products, your special products, right? You can create a system to where it automatically reorders those things for you based on your inventory, right? So it'll track your inventory for you. And then also forecast the demand. So it'll see with your data as you work it, right? It'll see exactly how much is being sold in certain months or certain times of the year. And it'll like let you know, like, hey, you should order more because this next quarter is going to be banging. You're going to be selling a lot this next quarter. So you need to make sure you up your inventory, right? And It's great. And then it'll automatically do that for you. Okay. So that you will never run out of products. And that's really, really, really important.
Yeah.
You want to keep the machine going. You never want to have a lull in that. Okay.
Right.
And then just, I mean, think about the time that you would spend if you had to do this by yourself, which most of you are probably doing right now. You're probably keeping track of your own inventory right now. So just think about the hours that you agonize over this, like whether it's weekly or monthly. Okay. You don't need to be writing down every single thing that comes in. You don't need to be typing up every single thing that comes in. Okay. You have to take advantage, or you should take advantage of the programs that can automatically do this for you. Okay.
It's
because
so powerful.
yeah, it truly is, right? I mean, I don't know. I personally don't know the amount of time that you spend doing that. I'm not a product-based business. I provide services. So, but I can imagine, because I know several business owners who are, a good friend of mine actually owns a t-shirt business, and he tells me that he spends days doing inventory.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you have to spend days doing inventory, you know the number of clients that he could have serviced in the days that he was doing that.
Right.
That's just, it's not worth it, right?
No, you block the flow of new ideas when you do that too. And it is, you get into the dilemma of working in the business instead of on the business. And I think one of the things that automation does for you is it gives you the ability to work on infrastructure at higher value levels of thinking. Like, because you aren't so down in the weeds trying to produce and make sure every little thing happens. And if you really can utilize some type of automated system to take care of the minute details, then you get to put the minutia behind you. And so one thing that small business owners don't realize is that it's worth the investment to do it. Like, it really is. It's worth the investment to pour that money into platforms like ChatGPT subscriptions, the presentation platform that you introduced me to, Gamma, which Gamma has saved me. I would spend, realistically, Maribel, I would spend probably a good 2 hours. I already have the material, but I have to put it in presentation form. I literally have taken my material, copied it from my Google Drive of where I've created, and even had used some ideas from ChatGPT to interject some amazing points, taking that information, pasted it into Gamma. Gamma produced a high quality presentation, great graphics. I've even learned how now to go back into the slides and say, make this more reader friendly. You know, make this slide more fun, make this slide more exciting. And it has changed it for me. And I'm gonna let you teach. I'm gonna tell you one more thing. So corporate America has been using AI. We just don't realize it. We call it algorithms and all of this kind of stuff. But corporate America has been using generative AI. Walmart in particular, I'm telling you a story about Walmart. Walmart hired this consulting firm to come in and help them with AI produce results of how can we optimize our sales during times of storms and natural disasters. And particularly we're looking at, hurricane season. What product is it that most of our customers are running to more so than other products? Now, some people would say it's umbrellas, ponchos, flashlights, even batteries, right? Strawberry Pop-Tarts.
Isn't that something?
Strawberry Pop-Tarts. So, of course, now they as an organization make sure that they're not blacklisted, like Maribel said. So now they have plenty of strawberry Pop-Tarts on the shelves because when we are going through hurricane season, of course, we don't want batteries. The first thing we run to is the Pop-Tarts. So now they know to keep their shelves fully stocked with that. And I thought that was the funniest story ever that I heard from this amazing presenter when I went to a women's league conference in Raleigh, North Carolina last year. And it just threw me so aback because AI was the reason that they got this quantifiable data. And that they were able to stock their shelves, increase their prices, and just made sure it all works. So what she's telling you guys is absolutely true. By no stretch of the imagination. This stuff works, but you need to implement it.
And you need to spend the time programming it. Okay. Like, I don't want you guys to sit there and think that you're just going to download ChatGPT and voila, right? It's going to connect to every system that you have, and it's going to be able to predict these things for you. That's not the case. You have to spend the time learning it, implementing it, like Cynthia said, but programming it is going to be the key. Okay, you have to program it to connect to certain systems, and you've got to program it to analyze the data that you're looking for. Okay, and that takes time. I'm not going to tell you it's like a magic thing that happens overnight. No, because every single time that you work with ChatGPT, especially if you're building a specific bot to go with it, right, it learns from you. Okay, that sounds weird, but it does. It learns from you. The more you feed it, the more you talk to it. Okay, it will learn what you're doing. It'll learn more about your business, right? The more data files you upload to it, it'll learn those things, and then it'll take that information and tailor it to the specific outcome that you want, right? So the outcome is never to be without products, right? Always have full shelves. But if it sees that, for example, let's say you sell chocolate bars, right? Let's see that it sees that you're always selling out of chocolate bars on Friday, okay? It can tell you, hey, order more before Friday comes. That way you have enough to be able to sell to your customers, right? So it's so important. It is so important to get on board with this, right?
And you know what I think you could do? You can cross-reference AI to your advantage.
Yes.
So if you think about that chocolate bar example, if that's happening on Fridays, literally ask AI, what would complement a chocolate bar on a Friday that I could have in a vending machine in an area like this? The more specific you make your question, the more specific you can get an answer. So there's endless possibilities.
100%, 100%. Talk to it like you would talk to a friend, right? It may sound funny, but yes, talk to GPT like you would a friend. All right. Hey, like I've got, and you could even use it like, hey, I got this idea to where I want to increase production by this much, right? How do I make that happen? Right. And it'll spit something out, and then you got to continue to ask it questions, right? Don't take the first thing at face value and run with it, because that's not what you should be doing. You should constantly be asking it questions, right? Until you get to a point where it's like, okay, it spits out something that you can act on and you can actually do, right? With the resources, the time, etc., that you do have. Okay. So just that's somewhere to start. Okay. Something else that automations can help you do is streamline your scheduling. Okay. There's an issue when you have to manually schedule leads, right? Because it leads to double booking and it leads to wasted time. I mean, there have been a couple of times, I'm not gonna lie, been a couple of times where I'm like, yes, I'm available this day. And then I realize, oh, wait, nope, no, I'm not. Right? Because I forgot to put something into the calendar that I had, verbally okayed or agreed to. And later, just it slipped my mind to do it. Because, you lead a busy life, right? So unless you do it right then and there, it's like, you can forget. And it's and then you're like, oh, who do I choose? Right? Imagine this. Imagine if it's two really high value clients. Like you're trying to land these major accounts, and I'm talking about life-changing accounts, like what would you do if you got stuck with that problem because you messed up your scheduling? Oh my goodness.
I'd be so hurt.
I would be too, right?
I'd be so hurt.
I would be sweating bullets going, oh my gosh, please let them be okay with rescheduling this, Right. So when you use schedulers, AI schedulers, right? They handle reminders, time zones, they help you with time zones and meeting optimization, like helping you with the note-taking part of it. And the follow-up too, right? Another thing that has gotten me in the past is the time zone issue. I forget sometimes to ask clients, what time zone are you in? And I automatically assume Eastern because that's what I'm in, right?
Right.
And then I log in and they're like, oh, wait a minute. I thought it was Central, or I thought it was, Western. And I'm like, no.
Moment of transparency. I did not use my Calendly automation to schedule somebody earlier this week, and I missed the podcast interview by 3 hours because I did not realize that they wanted 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, which would have been 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, my time. And so I'm logging on 3 hours late. And I had to email and reschedule that podcast interview.
Isn't that something? But
So
you see,
happens, but I didn't use my automation, so shame on me.
There it is, though, right? Lesson learned. You can, scheduling bots or scheduling programs can help cross-reference things to where you can see when the best time is for everyone. This is really good for when you have a team and you're trying to schedule time to get together to plan, right? Because everybody is doing something in the business and they always have things scheduled on their calendars. It's really hard to come together and go, okay, when is everybody available? Well, if you use a scheduling platform, it'll cross-reference everybody's calendars and see exactly when the right time is for all of you guys to meet. It's kind of cool, right?
I need to do that.
Yeah, it's very helpful. Very helpful to do that, right? Not only that, it can send out reminders to everybody so that they know ahead of time what's going on. It can send out the agenda to everybody so they know what's coming up and what you're going to be talking about. It can make quick changes if necessary, okay? And you can customize it too. Like it can be really cheeky and go, hey, don't forget you got soccer practice tomorrow for so-and-so, or things like that,
Nice.
and I'm a sports mom. So I've got one child that's in track, the other one that's in baseball. So trying to correlate their calendars and their schedules so that I'm present, right, is really important to me. So I have to make sure that their schedule is imported into my scheduling system so that I don't book anything with a client during their time, right? Because at the end of the day, why are we business owners? We want to have more time with our families. Like, period. That's really it, right? You want to have more, not just the wealth building aspect of it, but we want to be able to enjoy our families, our kids, our spouse, whomever, right?
Like we said before we hopped on this call, I just want to travel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
right?
It. I just want to travel.
Hello, who doesn't, right? And so if you cannot figure out like how to prioritize your family and get them in there, right? And making sure that time is not eclipsed by a client, right? Then it's not worth it. So scheduling, huge. Like if you take anything away from this particular presentation today, get your scheduling right. Okay. So something else that we can work on, right, using automations is project management and workflow optimization. So we waste a lot of time just scrolling, don't we? Okay. I'm guilty of it sometimes. Okay. Just being real. Or we see the shiny new thing, right, that we want to test out and try out. Okay. Because so-and-so recommended it to us. Or, we see it as we scroll and go, that looks interesting. I might want to try that in my business. When in reality, you don't have time for something else. Okay. What you need to do is be focused on your current workflow, what you've laid out for the year, right? And you should have had that done by now. Okay? It is the middle of January. If you don't have your year-long business plan worked out, I'm gonna need you to get on it. And I'm gonna need you to go back, like I think it's 2 presentations ago that we talked about that actually. And I give you some ideas as to how you can use ChatGPT to help you build that out. But build that out and hold yourself accountable to manage your growth throughout the year, right? Project management yesterday. Yes, huge. Okay. And project management doesn't just refer to like your team, right? It refers to yourself. You've got to be able to manage yourself first before you can manage anything else. Okay. Your workflow is critical. So like when I talk about workflow, I'm talking about like, how is your day structured? Like, do you come into the office and spend an hour scrolling through social media? Or do you begin with the high attention tasks, right? I like to call it eating the frog. You got to eat the frog first, right? You got to do the big thing first.
That's
in
right.
the morning, when you have the most energy, when you have the most ideas flowing, right? When you're awake and you're excited to be there, knock out those big things. And then plan your day, right? So as it gets closer to the end of it, you have the lesser tasks that don't take a whole lot from you, right? That's called your workflow. What's it look like, right?
Yep.
And then also within that, right? How do you tackle specific projects? So let's say, for example, I'm gonna give you me as the example, right? Building a website. When I build a website, what does that workflow look like, right? You start with client intake. You get, some information from the client, figure out exactly what they want, their brand. You need the brand guide, you need their logo, you need so on, all the things, right? All the elements that go into the website. Then I sit there and I literally sketch out a website by hand, okay? And I do that because I like to see visually what I want it to look like, okay? Before, and then once that's done, then I get on my platform and I start building the shell, right? And so I have the shell set, and then once that's done, I touch base with the client going, hey, how you doing? I'm here at this point of the project. This is what I got going on. I want to show you some of the screenshots of what I'm working on. Give me some feedback, because I don't want to get too deep into the project, create the whole entire website, and the client comes back to me and goes, nope, that's garbage. I don't want to
know,
right?
I love that. I love that. You have to do that. And I'm following you. So, and I hope y'all are following, listening to what she's walking you through, because she's basically giving you a winning strategy from how to move from planning to what would be the next stage, kind of like she's ending right now with really going into production, but she started planning sketching. Is that because you actually sketch out that website, and that's a point that a lot of people skip. They don't write it down. They go straight from planning and try to skip the sketching, and they go into production. And what looks good in your head does not look good on paper. And it's amazing. I like that you said that you run it before that client, before you get to the end, because that's where a lot of us mess up as business owners. We get caught up in thinking we have a perfect product or service.
Yeah.
So, yep.
No, you're good. Thank you. No, it's important. It's important to have that flow, right? And this is something, and then, once I get done with like presenting it to the client and go, hey, I need your feedback before I continue, right? They get back to me and they go, yes, that looks fabulous. I love it. Keep going. Or, hey, can you tweak this and that and the other? So then I go back and I do those things, right? And then I continue on, and then I meet with them again. All right, your completed work is done. I need you to review it with me before I make it live on the internet, right? So then we talk through it, right? We go through it. I show them how it works, the different elements and so on and so forth. And then we make it live, and then we test, right? Because we have to test it live to see if it works the way that it should work. And if it doesn't, then we troubleshoot, right? So there's a whole process that goes into these things. But if you don't establish your workflow from the jump, then you're going to skip a step. You're going to make it so that you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm at, or, so on and so forth, or you're going to waste time in one area versus another, right? Because, sometimes I've emailed clients, hey, review the product. I don't hear from them for 2 weeks, right? What's that about? Okay, that to me, that's a time waster, because by that time I'm working on somebody else's project.
I've moved on. I've moved on, seriously.
Right? Because if you're not going to pay the attention that I need you to pay to the something that you're paying me for, then I've got to move forward with life, right?
Right.
But here's the part that AI plays in that. AI can send targeted pings or emails or texts or whatever to the client going, hey, so-and-so sent you an update on the project on this date. I need you to respond. Please respond. Please respond. And it can send out periodic ones so that they know, oh, I got to respond to this. I'm so sorry, I missed it. Because this happened to me where a client has responded back to me and it's not shown up as a new message in my inbox. So I miss it. And then they come back like a week later going, hey, I sent you an email. Did you not get it? And I'm like, I didn't see it.
It must be Google, because that has happened to me too. It goes back, it's like the reply is like a part of the thread, but it doesn't show up like a new email at the top of your inbox. I've had that happen before.
Oh, that's so frustrating, right? It's incredibly frustrating. But when you have these systems in place, it can help circumvent that, right? And it can make sure that hey, you've got a response from said client in the inbox. Go ahead and check it out, right? And that's all a part of optimizing your workflow, right? And in terms of the project management part, right, this is where AI can help you check with your employees. Like, where are you at in this process? You know, it can ping them, it can remind them, it can set meetings with them, right? It can send them, you know, folders where they have to drop in what they're working on, you know, so that you can kind of see real quick, okay, this is where you're at in the process. Love that. Keep going. Okay. It's almost like they can send you proofs of what they're doing, and then you can okay it and move forward, right? So when you avoid having to, say, get out of your office and go down the hall or across the building, or even if you're a remote company, like this is really helpful when you're a remote company and you have employees that work in different spaces and places around the world, right? When you have this set up, then it's like you become this team captain that never forgets anything.
Right.
Right. And people are going to sit there and they're going to wonder, how on God's green earth does she do it all? Right.
It's true.
It's major in terms of time saving. Right. And I'm all about that. I'm all about the saving of the time. Okay. All right. So this slide right here just talks about kind of like the financial impact, right? Saving time and money. Okay. So an average investment in automation tools, it's about $500, you know, give or take, depending on the platforms that you use. I have some that are a whole lot less costly than that. So hit me up if you want to know what those are. And I'll be more than happy to share them with you. I'm not like an affiliate with any of them or anything like that. I'll just let you know, hey, this is what you should do for your business structure as it is. Okay. Reduce labor costs through automation. You save about $1,500 monthly. In labor costs through automation, because think about it, how much do you pay yourself an hour, right? And then you multiply that by the number of hours that you would spend doing things manually, and you'll arrive at whatever you save.
There you go.
Right. So like, you know, I know what my rates are per hour depending on the project, and if I multiply that out, it's thousands of dollars, not just $1,500, right? It's a lot. And then in terms of productivity boosts, the average improvement for companies that embrace automation is like 30%. That's a lot. That translates to a lot of dollars.
Money. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of time.
Translate that to a lot of dollars, right? Because if they improve their productivity, right, they can focus on making better products for helping customers, whether that is a service-based thing or an actual physical product, right? And they'll make fewer mistakes because they have a little bit more time, right, to wiggle in, where they can kind of review what they're doing and double check themselves, right? And of course, this does save money. So I'll give you a quick example. I have a friend who owns a bakery, okay? Someone who doesn't use automations may accidentally bake too many cakes and waste ingredients, right? But if they use the automations, then the computer can tell them exactly how many cakes they need, right? For a specific, let's say, event that they're doing. Let's say, pretend that they're doing a wedding, right? And they need to serve, I don't know, 500 people, okay? Instead of sitting there and trying to figure out, well, how many cakes do I need for 500, right? You throw that into the system, it'll tell you exactly how many you need, and it'll tell you the amount of ingredients that you need to be able to bake that many, right? Which is great, right? Again, with inventory, right? It can calculate, let's say, chocolate eclairs. Let's say that's something that flies off the shelf every Monday morning, okay? And it notices, hey, you end up not having enough eclairs by this time every week, right? So you know, okay, I got to make more. I got to bake extra of that, you know, ahead of time, which means I have to buy more ingredients to be able to do that, right? Ahead of time. So those are the kinds of things that you have to think about, right? Like, how can I use this, not just to save me time and money, but aggravation too? Because when you have clients that come in that are expecting something from you and you can't deliver, right? It looks bad on your part.
It looks bad. It
It
looks
looks
bad.
so bad on your part, right? And
Yep.
then guess what's going to happen? They're going to talk to their best friend and tell their best friend, guess what, girl? I went to this bakery today and they did not have anything in their
Yep.
shelves that I
Yep.
wanted. Okay. You don't need to be going back there because they don't know how to deal. So word of mouth is big.
Mhm.
And that can make or break a small business.
Yep. Yeah, definitely a small business. It make or break large corporations now. If you've
Yeah.
watched a lot of the recent activity on TikTok, where you have like the great the unfollow movements, where these people are losing like hundreds of thousands of followers a day, they're crying not because they're losing notoriety. Those are dollar signs for them.
It
And that's
is.
what people don't realize. Like automation, she's really teaching you here how automation eliminates waste in so many different areas of your business that trickle over into your life.
For sure.
1.5K a month is $18,000 a year. Just to let you know, that's saving $18,000 a year. What would you do with $18,000 a year? You
Girl,
know,
I'd be going to Bora Bora.
thank you. We're going to Bora Bora. We already said that. That's in the making. Now she's spending $6,000 a year on investing into it, but she's saving 18. So
That's
in
it.
essence, you're looking at like she's gaining $12,000 back into her business that can be used for other things. Y'all do the math. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't. And this work won't either if you get it in.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, like, that's on the conservative side, to be
Right.
honest, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we're being really conservative with numbers.
you see what I'm saying? Like, that's conservative. So, imagine the possibilities of what you could do, how far you could reach, how much you could grow in a year, right? In a year, if you just implemented this, right? Implemented these strategies and these skills.
Yep.
So, I mean, literally, the sky is the limit, guys. Sky is the limit here. Okay. So you might be wondering, like, how do I get started? Okay. That's like the big question, probably. How do I get started with this? I have no clue what automations are, right? It's so much easier than you think. Okay. So you want to start by identifying certain things within your organization, right? Look for repetitive tasks like invoicing, email responses, or even scheduling. Okay. So identify those things first. Know what they are. Okay. Then do some research. Okay. You want to make sure that you have the right tools to be able to execute these things. So you have like zone inventory, you have Calendly, you have Asana, which is project management. There's so many others. Obviously, ChatGPT, there's Perplexity. I can go on and on and on about the tools, right? And I say do your research because not everybody is going to use the same tools within their business.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
There's also going to be certain platforms that you favor versus not. Okay. For example, I used to use Trello a lot. Okay. Back in the day. I don't like Trello anymore now that I found Asana. And so, yes, I use Asana for most of my project management. Right. And I use Slack a lot. Yeah. Slack is great when you're interacting with your employees or clients, actually, because you can use Slack to send them updates on their projects and where you're at with that, right? You can use Slack to send an automated message to someone else in your company, letting them know, hey, we're running low on this thing. I need you to order it, right? Or you could send an update on, God forbid, something happens, right, to you, your family, your company, letting everybody know, hey, this is what occurred. I need you guys to do this instead. Stay home, work at home. Like the other day, I was here last week, and the circuit, I guess something happened with one of the outlets, and like sparks went flying, and then it actually, the lights went out in the front part of the building.
Oh, wow.
And then the internet went out too. So we had to end up working from home the rest of the day. Right?
Lucky y'all.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But but like it's important to know and understand that also the tools that you use now may not be the tools that you use down the road.
Right.
Okay. AI is constantly evolving.
Adaptation.
Constantly shifting, changing, right? You have to adapt.
Yep.
Exactly what you said. You have to be adaptable. You have to know that it's going to constantly change. So you have to study it. You got to learn it. You got to practice it. You got to put it into play. If you don't do that, right, then you're going to be like, okay, well, I'm stuck. This is not helping me. This is not working well for me. You're going to get frustrated, and you're not going to want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't get static with AI. You gotta remain agile. Yeah. You gotta be ready to adapt at all times.
All times, right? So just understand and know that there are tools for everything on the planet out there. Okay. What's going to matter is what you want to spend on it. Okay. Because you're going to have to invest something in them.
Yes.
Okay. If you want the really cool ones, like a lot of them give you free options, but I'm going to be honest with you. The free options don't give you the higher level tools that you really should be using in your business. So think about what your budget is and what you want to spend. That's going to be important, you know, and then think about the foundational things that you want to have done for you, right? And that's how you start figuring out, well, what tools do I absolutely need to automate certain processes in my life? And understand that it can automate things in your business, but also your personal life too, right? So, because when you can free up certain things in your personal life, then you have more quality time that you could spend on other things, right? Like expanding your business, okay? You know, your education, like learning about different AI strategies, techniques, and so on and so forth, or working towards a certification that you think will be helpful, you know, in your personal or professional growth. So those are some of the things that you have to consider as well. And like I told you before, start small, right? Don't try to do all of it at once because you're going to get overwhelmed. AI is a beast. I'm not even gonna lie. AI is a beast. There's so much out there, okay? Yeah. And if you try to take it all in at once, right, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to be like, I don't want to deal with this because this is nonsense. And that's the last thing I want you to do. So pick something small, try it out, see how much time it saves you. And if it works well for you, keep on using it, okay? If it doesn't work well, I want you to ask yourself, number one, am I using this platform to its full advantage, right? Number two, am I being consistent with training it, okay? And then number three, okay, am I actually following through with everything that it's helping me do, right? Because if I have my Asana that tells me that during this time frame is my brainstorming time, where I want to focus on, you know, new ideas for the business, am I actually implementing that? Am I actually setting aside that time in my calendar to do that? Or am I just ignoring that notification and moving forward? All right.
Love that.
So if you're going to ignore that, then the system's not working for you. It's not working for you in your favor, but you're hurting yourself by doing that.
Can you give us those three things again, Maribel? And I'm going to promise for everybody because that was really good. She preached right there. I don't know if y'all caught the sermon, but she preached for a minute. What were those three again for evaluating your AI activities?
Let me see. I got to think back to what I said because I just came out of nowhere.
Well, y'all going to have to watch the replay to get that. I was going to stick that in the comments, but I could not type it fast enough. Oh, that was a whole word. I missed that.
Hey, watch the replay because
watch the replay to get that.
Wasn't even in
that was
notes.
Good.
That came out of nowhere. That came out of nowhere. Hey, so yes. So if you don't listen, yes, if you are not intentional, okay, with using those platforms, then by golly, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you. So before you even begin using any of these things, I need you to set your intentions.
Yep.
Right. Am I going to use automations to its full capacity, or am I not ready for that? If you're not ready for that, don't spend your money on it. Because it's just going to be another program that just sits there and gets wasted. Don't do that to yourself. Okay. But if you are the one that is looking at this, watching this webinar right now and going, yep, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for more money in my bank account. I'm ready for more time on my calendar, right? I'm ready for more clients in my inbox. If that's you, you need to start using automations.
Yep.
Like today. Okay.
Do not wait. Need to book a consult with Maribel.
That's it.
And be working with her one-on-one. No lie. You need to, if that describes you, you need to book her. And her booking link is in the comments, is pinned here.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, with that being said, it's 12:50. I've got 10 more minutes on my schedule for you guys. So just know I would love to answer any questions you have, right? Maybe you're curious about how these tools work for you, or maybe how to pick the right one. Automation's here to help us, not replace us, right? AI will never replace you. I don't care who you are. It's not going to replace you, because someone always has to maneuver it, manipulate it, right? But AI can help you become a better employee, a better business owner, a better parent, okay, a better sibling, a better spouse, right? Anything, right? Like, not for nothing, I used AI the other day to design this year's my food schedule, like my menu, right?
Awesome.
Because I'm vegan, so I have some restrictions that I have to follow, right? And I also have been working on my weight loss journey, and so I'm like, all right, this is what I want to accomplish by this date. Okay, I need to know what my macros are. I need to know, give me a calendar of food that I can create over the course of however many months. Okay. And I need to know exactly how many calories it's going to be, and the ingredients that I need to buy at the supermarket, so that I can make them all, right? Because I want to know, right? When I go shopping, I want to have my list, and I want to know exactly how much I have to have and whatever, right? Because that saves me time. Okay. And that's the deal. I don't want to have to sit there and go through my cabinets and go, I'm looking for all these things. No, I want to have a list of things I can go to the store with, buy it now, and be done with it. Right. But then I set up automations for myself to remind me, hey, go grocery shopping for these meals, because you've got to make them this next week. Right. Do this day, because if you don't, then this won't work. Right. It even tells me when I need to work out, and what I need to work and what muscle groups I need to work out, right? And it reminds me of when I got to take my measurements, or when I should weigh myself, or even when I got a cheat day. I programmed that sucker in there too. So,
yes, absolutely.
That's just a little practical, application that I use it for. But cool. You can do so much with automations, so much. Like, the sky literally is the limit. But it's just really important to know how to use it, which ones you're going to use, whether or not you're being real with yourself, in terms of utilization, and feel free to iterate. Right? If one thing doesn't work for you this time, then try it another way. Yeah. Okay. Because not every tool is for everybody. Right. Okay. Your businesses are so unique. And just know that there's something out there that is truly, truly, truly going to help you. It just depends on what you want to do with it.
That's right. That's right. Maribel, this has been amazing today. And I hope that everybody who's watching, everybody who's going to be watching the replay is going to get all the gold nuggets that were here. There were really so many put out there today that I could not sum it up within the next 3 to 5 minutes of this presentation. So go back, watch it all. And I would encourage you to definitely follow through with one main thing that she said today. Well, a couple of main things. The first one being that if you have not set your goals for this year already, then you're behind schedule. So you need to get on that ASAP, because you need to be getting kind of down and dirty at this point and taking actionable steps toward those, and allowing AI to help you optimize your journey in that, so you can accelerate it and probably become a lot more successful or profitable, or at least be results driven a lot faster than usual. So you get a leg up with that. Another great point she made today that I put in all caps in the comments was the scheduling aspect. And she told you guys, if you didn't get anything else out of today's presentation, to make sure that you get your scheduling right. You got her winning strategy today for how she goes through and how she handles things with her clients, which keeps her so successful. Her planning, sketching, and writing it out, and then producing and able to review that with clients. You've got all the added things that she told you about AI today. And this is only the third presentation in this series this year, which I'm finding they are so valuable that she probably should be charging for these. But we are so thankful with Maribel. Her link to schedule consults with her is in the 6 Secrets group. If you look in the guide section, there's a section where you could go to where it says book a consult with Maribel. You can find it there. It's also posted in the comment section of this. You guys, I would encourage you to follow up from this video by signing up for the chat that's in the group. And also there's a link with a freebie that she's gotten, a resource for you guys too, and a link to an AI chatbot that she's created her out with her own hands and her own brilliant mind that you're going to have access to. That'll be posted in the group alongside this video. So take advantage of the resources that she's giving you, because you're going to be ready to take next steps with her. And I encourage you to go ahead and schedule those consults with her so you can. So thank you so much for everything today, Maribel. You are absolutely amazing at what you do. And I'm so glad that you're here sharing this with us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been fun. I mean, guys, stay tuned to the coming ones. I'm telling you, if you haven't caught up on the others, they're in the group.
Watch them.
Watch them. Okay. Because I'm telling you, if you get nowhere this year, you're the only one to blame.
It's not on us. Seriously.
That's right.
It's not going to be. It's not on our watch. We're trying to make you 6-figure earners this year.